Well, let's get on to the top story tonight. Well, tonight we are going to turn the spotlight on a revolution which is unfolding in the world of football. One which is fueled not by tactics or talent or even fandom, but by treasure and, yes, riches. Call it the Arab Spring, if you may, for the sporting world in an era where Gulf riches, which is led, of course, by Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, are rewriting the rules of the game. Why do we say that? Well, let's start. Let's tell you about Cristiano Ronaldo. Well, this man, this superstar we should call him, has signed a new deal with Al-Nassr with a staggering £400 million a year deal. Yes, let that sink in. £400 million a deal, a year that is, which breaks down to nearly, and we are going to break it down, very interesting, about £13 every second. Every second he's with them, £13. That's how much he is going to be making in this deal. Also, part of the deal is going to be private jets, mansions, and of course, millions of moolah, which is going to be raking in. So let's break down this deal of Ronaldo. Well, there you have it. We're going to break it down as to what it means. Per year, as we were just telling you, it's £400 million. But let's break it down further and tell you what CR7's Bonanza contract really is going to be. Next, we are going to tell you how per month it actually translates into £33.3 million. Per week, if you want to break it down, it comes to about £7.6 million per week. And when it comes to per day, it's £1.1 million per day. When it's down to second, Ronaldo gets to make roughly 46,300 pounds per hour and per minute. And if you break it down to seconds, as I was telling you earlier, it is going to be £13. Well, there you have it in the numbers. Imagine that kind of money, which is why we are calling him the Richie Rich of football. And let's tell you what this latest deal is all about. When he signs, the signing fee alone is going to be 28.67 million. The second-year deal, remember this, I beg your pardon, this is all in euro. The second-year deal is going to be in euros 44.46 million, which is a huge hike. Because remember, this is a two-year contract, a two-year deal that he has signed. When it comes to the bonus amount, in case they win the trophy with him, it is going to be 4.68 million euros for winning the Golden Boot. So the winning title is going to be roughly 9.36 million euros. And if Al-Nassr manages to win the Saudi Pro League, that is the amount of money that he stands to gain. Well, let's get you who all have gone the Saudi way. Well, Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, he was one of them. He is part of the club Al-Nassr. The salary that he is drawing per year is 178 pounds. And let's get you the rest of them as well. When it comes to Neymar, he is part of the Al Hilal club, and he gets about 90 million euros. Let's also tell you about the rest of them. You, of course, have Karim Benzema, one of the biggest stars. The club that he belongs to is Al-Ittihad. The salary that he gets to draw is 100 million euros per year. Then you have N'Golo Kante. He is part of the club which is called the Al-Ittihad as well. He draws a salary of 68 million euros per year. There are several others that we are going to keep showing you in the background. But let's tell you how the balance of power in football is shifting day by day. No longer are the clubs merely backed by local billionaires for historical fanfare. Now it's oil-rich sovereign funds and the Gulf royalty who are calling the shots with near limitless financial firepower. In fact, the Arab ownership, of course, has been reshaping the global football scenario as well. Let's tell you about the Arab dominance in football. Well, of course, you have these clubs as well as those who have founded it, who have invested in it. You have the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia, which owns Newcastle, about 80% of it. And you have the chairman who has assets, which is estimated to about $925 billion. Then you have the Qatar Sports Investments. Of course, it is owned by the PSG, about 70% of it. And the assets that it has is roughly $450 billion. The valuation is roughly $4.6 billion. You have the Abu Dhabi United Group, the UAE of UAE. In fact, it is owned by Manchester City via City Football Group. The owner has assets which is roughly translating into 20 to 30 billion dollars. The valuation stands roughly around 5 to 6 billion dollars. But here's the question we are debating: can oil money truly build a football legacy, destroying the spirit of the sports that we all love and call the beautiful game? Is it really the Arab Spring which is blooming in football with oil money? That's the question that we are going to be asking. Let me go across to our guests. Tonight joining us on the show, we have Nikhil Sharma. He's a sports commentator. We also have Raees Khan, who is the owner of Mumbai Marines, Premier League. So, Sana, I'm going to be coming to you. This is very interesting for us to look at the way oil money may be reshaping the entire football scenario. Do you think it's going to be fair on the local talent when you have football stars not recruited from the local talent pool, but being bought because they are the biggest stars, footballing stars across the globe?
Oh, absolutely. See, they are the face of the team. They are definitely putting in so much of effort. If they're getting equity, if they're getting stakes, there's nothing wrong. In fact, that is helping the global sports economy. So Ronaldo's new contract with Al-Nassr is not just a headline-grabbing deal. It's a defining moment in global sports economy and a clear indicator of power shifting away from traditional sporting hubs like Europe. So Ronaldo has not signed a contract. I think he's signed the future of sports business. To me, this is not about Ronaldo alone. I think this is a wake-up call to every traditional league, franchise owner and policymaker in sports. Saudi Arabia is telling the world that we are not just hosting sporting events, we are owning them, rewriting the rules. I think this definitely raises a bar globally. Franchise owners in India must also now think beyond team building and fan engagement. We are now competing in global entertainment economy where sports is not just local. I think it's more geo-economic. So I think if Ronaldo can earn this kind of deal outside Europe, then it pushes BCCI, IPL franchises, and even many other like ISL teams to rethink that: are we building brands or teams? Are we valuing players just for performance or also for what they represent on global space? And I think, are we investing enough in global expansion?
That's a very interesting point that, Sana, you've raised. Let me take that across to Nikhil Sharma, but I'll take what the other point of view of this. Many are saying, is it only about the talent, or is it the fandom that they bring because they have that brand value? Because, Nikhil, if you just look at 2017, for example, you had PSG, they had bought Neymar at that time for a whopping 220 million euros, which it was the most expensive football deal which was made. Was it only because he was the best of the best, or is it because they want to grab that kind of a viewership, that kind of the fan base that Neymar was likely to bring along with him, not just talent?
Well, Meghna, it's an incredible topic that we're discussing. Firstly, I think football today presents a soft power that no other power really has as of date, right? We're talking about a sport that's the biggest in the world, that has more member nations than the UN itself. So that's the premise that we're talking about. Point number one. Point number two, in the world of football, there haven't been and there will never be athletes like Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. The simple answer to that, and a lot of people will talk about Diego Maradona, Pele, etc. No, they're not. They did not have the longevity that both these boys have had. Now with Messi gone to the US and Saudi Arabia on a mission since 2015 to present a face of new Saudi Arabia, Cristiano Ronaldo is the only face, a global face, that the country had to present its new face outwards to the world that we are now a new country. And that's what this deal is all about. It's got to do with football, but even if you look at the structure, there's signing bonuses, there are winning bonuses, there's the jet bonus. What is not there in this 200 million, 250 million pound a year deal is the playing salary, right? It's not a lot. Why? Because you've got to abide by the rules that the AFC has set. What Saudi Arabia wants to do in the Public Investment Fund, you've got to look at this as a capital, right? They've invested in Accor, they've invested in Newcastle, they've invested in Reliance, in Jio. Why is football being looked at separately, especially if they own 75%? The country owns Al-Nassr and they've not won it. Having said that, they did reasonably well. Everybody is now looking at the Saudi Arabian League. And mind you, all those players that you mentioned, whether it's Benzema, whether it's Kante, whether it's Sadio Mane, none of them have the charisma, the visibility that Cristiano Ronaldo has. Meghna, all said and done, Cristiano Ronaldo was the only option. Well, kudos to Saudi Arabia. They went and got him back.
And that's very interesting because many people say that considering they failed to win that trophy, that there is a possibility he may not be renewing it. So it went back and forth. But we are all glad that we get to see more of Cristiano Ronaldo, isn't it? Who isn't? But Sana, I must come to you now because you made an interesting point. You said that why not? Why not have this investment which is coming in? But there are others who are saying, look at what football's legacy is. Football is not just about winning. It is about creating that legacy. It is creating that community feeling, which has always been something which is intrinsic, especially to European football. This kind of a football where you have the richest of the people, the oligarchs as well, who are investing in football, they can afford to buy talent. They don't need homegrown talent. Then it comes down essentially to have fortune, then you can buy your fame as well as your trophy. Does it mean that, Sana?
See, I feel that this model can be, in fact, studied and can be potentially replicated in even Indian sports, where our biggest players are icons but are not yet stakeholders in the businesses that they help build.
Fair enough.
Yes, so Europe may still have legacy, but this deal shows that legacy alone no longer pays the bills. And that's where India is also having an opportunity, I feel, because we have a massive sports audience, one of the largest young population in the world, increasing sports investment and private, the equity interests, and most importantly, a hunger for global legitimacy. So this is a moment for Indian sports investors to say, if Saudi Arabia can reposition football, why can't India do that for football, cricket, kabaddi, or let's say hockey? This sets a good precedent for us to globalize our fan base and increase cross-border collaborations, I feel, and even offer our players incentives and more than just salaries, I think, in branding opportunities. And
incentivization. Nikhil Sharma, at least the incentivization of the players, the athletes, they are after all the stars. They are the ones who are actually drawing these fans in hordes, paying ridiculous amounts just to catch that one glimpse of that one perfect goal. Why shouldn't they? Many would ask. Let them make as much money as the sun shines. Make hay while the sun shines, they would say.
Meghna, interestingly, there's space for everything and everyone as far as the world is concerned and the world of football is concerned. You want the best of the best at the top. And that's how, people talk of legacy when there's so much of money elsewhere. They don't talk of legacy if the money was with them, right? So everybody who has money never talks about the legacy. It's basically people who are struggling at a different end of spectrum. Mind you, legacy is incredibly important, but you can't wait 100 years. Sport takes a lot of time to build that intrinsically. Things that got developed in Argentina and Brazil took 150 years. In UK, people came out from coal mines, textile mines, or textile factories. That's how football developed there. Will Saudi Arabia wait for it? No, they won't. Will India wait for it? India won't. We will have to develop hybrid models wherein people can go up. And at the end of the day, if everybody else gets their payday, why shouldn't footballers, why shouldn't athletes? And that's where, where I believe that deals like these will set the bar. However, there's a space for everybody. Nobody's stopping us from developing legacy today. If there's nothing wrong in it, it's brilliant if you can. But not every place has one solution fits all. Saudi Arabia has a different one. India will have a different one. Mind you, China has tried it and failed. But I think Saudi Arabia is very different because there's a concerted effort by everybody in that ecosystem, especially, led by their leader who wants to showcase it to the entire world. And it's not just in football. It's in F1. It's in golf. It's in real estate. It's in the investments that they've made. So there's a concerted effort. There's a soft power in football, and there's no athlete like Ronaldo, barring Messi. So he's got the absolute North Star of the world, of the universe. and place it in the Saudi League. Hopefully Al-Nassr can win. They've been close. Meghna, in the 3 years that he's been there, they were second twice. Last year, because Ittihad won and Al-Hilal, which is very, very strong, was second. They couldn't win it, but he's always been close to the golden boot. He's doing his performance. Maybe it's the others who've got to pull their socks up.
You're absolutely right. And Nikhil, I'm very glad that you've added that rider of he's the North Star, the guiding star, except, of course, for Messi, for all the Messi fans out there. But absolutely agree with you. Well, he's been very lucky with his deal. He's been performing very well. But this time around, hopefully, the team will as well. Well, a lot will depend on how this one man, Ronaldo, does for Al-Nassr. Thank you so much, Nikhil Sharma, as well as Sana Raees, for joining us. It's been an interesting conversation. Has oil money ruined or really made the beautiful game of football? Without a short break.